Hello again. Hello again. Hello. For you Neil Diamond fans out there. Anyway, yesterday I tried something new and I made a little video of my desktop. Well, quite a lengthy video actually, showing you all how I do some of the editing that I do on my site. And I mentioned in that video that I would like to try doing some vlog updates of my site rather than blog updates. So instead of writing my updates, I thought I would video update you all and show you in the video the new additions that I've made to my site since the last time I did an update. Now, my last update was on April 16th, and since then I've worked on 2 chapters. I know that by going to my index, which is right here. Here you're looking at my holiday time track listing, and I have the dates here, so I know that the last time I updated you by looking at this, I added a bunch of stuff to my Halloween section. The last time I updated you, I talked about all the other holidays that I was working on in my holiday time chapter. And for those who don't know, my holiday time chapter doesn't just include Christmas, it includes Halloween and then all the other littler holidays like Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day and Easter and 4th of July, Thanksgiving, and of course New Year's Eve. So all of those holidays are represented on this page. I have Christmas as the first section, Halloween as the second section, and then other holidays as the third section. So it's divided, the chapter's divided into 3 segments. This chapter is pretty much done for now. However, I have a lot to add to my Christmas section of this chapter, but I'm not going to work on that until the after Thanksgiving. I don't want to really listen to Christmas music until it's Christmas time, but I do plan on working on that at the end of the year and adding a bunch of new stuff, improving some of the existing things, and so you'll see a lot of new Christmas tracks this year. But the other sections are completely updated. There's nothing that I currently have to add to the other holidays. And I've just finished Halloween a few weeks ago. So let's kind of go through that Halloween section, and I'll show you briefly and play for you maybe a few of the new things I've added. Here's the Christmas section. This is the holiday time page. I already brought it up before I started recording. As you see, this is the Christmas section. And I always use Firefox as my browser for my site. Chrome works very good too. Explorer does not work that great as far as visually seeing the site the way that I designed it. And Safari, forget about it, because a lot of people have had issues playing the music if they use Safari. So don't go on my site if you use Safari. Try to use Chrome or Firefox. Those are the optimal methods of browsing my site. Here is the Halloween section. Happy Halloween. You see Mickey dressed as a ghost and a few images. this where my mouse is circling currently, I think that's Hong Kong Disneyland, but I use a lot of artistic license when it comes to certain things, and I really like this picture. So it looks kind of like the same. It's Hong Kong Disneyland, for those who don't know, has the exact same main street as the original Disneyland. It's an exact copy. So the buildings in the background are the same buildings you would find in Anaheim. But I don't think this parade with Jack Skellington on the big pumpkin here was ever at Disneyland. But it's a cute picture, so I thought I'd use it anyway. But anyway, everything that's new is marked with a new. And some of the new things were there before, but I made them better. I made them longer, or I made the audio better. So Halloween Time in Disneyland is a commercial, I think, from 2009, a TV spot that I edited, cleaned up the sound, and it talks about the villains. That's why I have a picture of the villains there. Grim Grinning Ghosts is fun, number 39 here. This is kind of a mix of several different versions of Grim Grinning Ghosts. So it's like several... here, I'll play a minute of it for you and show you. If it'll start.
Grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Now don't go.
So it's just all different cover versions of Grim Grinning Ghosts, all put together in a fun little 40-minute mix. Grim Grinning Ghost Christmas is a Christmas version of the song Grim Grinning Ghosts, which is a lot of fun. The Haunted Mansion area background music, the music box, this is actually new, but as you see, this title, which I'm highlighting right now, is so long, I couldn't fit the word new. So I just decided, because it was there before, but I put a longer version. I think the other version was like 2.5 minutes. Now it's 7 minutes and 43 seconds. So I did update this one, but I didn't put the word new because it just didn't fit. So, this track is the same. This is the same, 43. I didn't change anything there. This one, Jack's Back, is 2 other TV commercials advertising Haunted Mansion Holiday specifically. So those are 2 commercial spots from a few years ago, 2 different years. There's 30 seconds of each ad, so it runs a minute long. There's 2 ads. Haunted Mansion Holiday Breakdown Spiels is fun. Let me play that one. It's only a minute.
Playful holiday presents are on the loose and have interrupted our tour. So kindly remain seated in your black Christmas sleigh. Are you ready to resume your visit? The happy haunts are dying to have you see more of their holiday home. We will continue your holiday tour momentarily.
So, obviously what that is the music that you hear when you pass by Oogie Boogie at the end of the attraction. That's why I used the image that I did. And it's the spiel that you would hear if the vehicles have to temporarily stop. Usually it's to let a wheelchair guest on. They just stop the attraction for everybody because it's on a conveyor belt, so you can't just stop one vehicle. You have to stop every vehicle. If one vehicle stops, they all stop. So that music originally was used in the attic scene, but now you can hear it in the scene with at the very end when you see Oogie Boogie, where normally is where the hitchhiking ghosts are. French Market holiday area background music. This is music that you hear from Halloween to the end of the year, and it's all taken from Tim Burton films. Some of them aren't even Disney ones. You hear music from Edward Scissorhands, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, I think Big Fish. There's a song from Big Fish. Of course, you also hear songs from The Nightmare Before Christmas. So that's kind of a fun mix. It's all Danny Elfman music from different movies. I had this on my site before, but I had an abridged version, so this is the full uncut version. It also includes some music from the actual Haunted Mansion holiday attraction itself. This track, Main Street Pumpkin Festival, is I didn't have any actual music for this, so what I used was some music that kind of sounds turn of the century, aka Main Street USA sounding, turn of the 20th century, I should say. Not 2000, but 1900. And it's actually music that's played by the, what's the name of that group that plays all that Main Street music? I can't remember. See, this is what's wrong with doing a live blog. If I write it down, if I don't remember something, I can just go look it up. Oh, the Paragon Ragtime Orchestra, who has provided much of the background music for Disneyland's Main Street over the years. So it's appropriate to include some of their music for the Halloween section. It's 3 songs from their studio recordings that have kind of a Halloween feel to them. So that's kind of fun. And it ties into Disneyland because they have a connection to Disneyland. Big Thunder Ranch. This is not really Halloween music, but it's music that you would hear when the Big Thunder Ranch did a Halloween layover involving Woody and Jesse and the other characters from Toy Story. It's some cowboy music and a couple instrumental versions of songs from the Toy Story 2 with, Jesse the yodeling cowgirl and all that fun stuff. Big Thunder Ranch Halloween Carnival is the music they used when they did the Halloween Carnival layover at Big Thunder Ranch was actually all taken from one album, and one of my friends figured out what album that was. So it runs 40 minutes. It's all like, carnival music, like do 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 do. Well, I'll play a little bit for you so you can see what I'm talking about. It's taking a minute to play. Sorry. So you get the idea. It's like circus or carnival music. Billy Hill and the Hillbillies performed at the Halloween Carnival. And watching their videos, one of the songs they always included in their Halloween set was The Devil Went Down to Georgia. And they actually recorded that for 2 different albums that they released. So that was a no-brainer to include that song, Devil Went Down to Georgia, to represent Billy Hill and the Hillbillies, and the Haunted Hillbillies, I should say. Halloween Carnival Magic Show. Watching live videos that were posted on YouTube. We did use what's called song recognition software to figure out what songs, the actual songs that were used, and then did some hunting down to find the actual recordings that Disney used for that. There's one recording we could not find, and I say we because I kind of work hand in hand with a friend of mine named Scott Leonard, who he's on Facebook, and he has a great family, and he's a really nice guy, and we kind of collaborate on a lot of these projects together. He gives me advice, and we kind of go back and forth with ideas. Anyway, this is a all the music on this is a match from the video, but one of the songs that I used called Hall of the Mountain King, which is a piece of classical music that's da 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 da. It's not the actual version you hear in the it's like an a cappella version. I did find an a cappella version of the music, but not the exact same version. So because I couldn't find the actual version that was used, I used that other one, which is close enough to what was really used. But the Magic Cauldron Conjure a Villain, I used some creepy music, and I actually took audio from videos that were posted on YouTube, and I cleaned them up and added sound effects. And so this is authentic audio from Conjure a Villain, and I did a lot of work to clean it up and take out all the sounds of the audience that were there. I mean, these were filmed live, so it was kind of a challenge. So let me play a minute of it for you.
I see a dungeon, a book of spells, a bright red apple, wishing wells. Come forth, villain, hear my call. Appear, the evilest one of all.
For those who don't know what that was, you went into this tent, and there was it's kind of like a sideshow show, and you went into a tent, and there was this magic box and a cauldron next to it, and the cast member would have one of the audience members wave a magic wand over the cauldron, and then there'd be smoke effects, and one of the Disney villains would magically appear in that little box. Kind of like the cabinet of, you know that old silent film, The Cabinet of Dr. So-and-so. I can't remember the name of it, but kind of like evoking that whole carnival, creepy carnival idea. Ghost Riders in the Sky is a mix of different versions of that song that have been featured in the park. That's a song that Disney it's their go-to for Frontierland's Halloween time. So I included 4 different versions of that song that have been used in the park over the years. It's a fun little medley. The Halloween tree there's a song of the Halloween tree that I don't think has anything to do with Disney, but I used that song to represent the Halloween tree in the park. The Pioneer Mercantile Halloween sing-along. Inside the Pioneer Mercantile in Frontierland, there's a screen which looks like this picture. This is a picture of the screen. It kind of looks like a Native American drum that's stretched out, and then they project movies on it. During the normal time of the year, they show scenes from Old Yeller and Pocahontas. And at Halloween time, in years past, they've shown one of those old Disney sing-along videos that was called Happy Haunting Party at Disneyland. So I put the audio from that on the site. And I cut out all the dialogue and everything, so it's just the music from that video, because there were little incidental scenes that would happen between the songs, and I kind of cut all those out and just did the music. Mickey's Trick or Treat Party area background music. This is the music that you hear every year when you go to the Trick or Treat party. You hear it on Main Street. I did have this on my site I've had it on my site for several years, but it was a abridged version, so I went ahead and did the complete uncut version of it. Mickey's Toontown Halloween area background music. We're not exactly sure, and when I say we, I'm again referring to my friend Scott, who helped me out with some of this stuff. We're not exactly sure if this has ever been used in Disneyland. I do know that they do close Toontown during Halloween events now, but I don't know if they always did. What this might be is the music they used at Mickey's Toontown Fair in Walt Disney World, when they still had the Mickey's Toontown Fair before it was refurbished to the Dumbo Circus area. So just because I can, and it's a fun mix, I decided to include it, even though it might not have ever been at Disneyland. But, you know, it's just fun Halloween music, so why not include it? Again, artistic license. Mickey's Costume Party Cavalcade. Again, I did have this on my site before, but I added some extra music that I found that wasn't on there before. This is the old short parade they had before last year, when they added the full long parade that they now have, like they have at Disney World. So this is the earlier parade, and it's more complete than the version I had before. Mickey's Trick or Treat Party Riverfront music. That's music you hear around the Mark Twain dock, where they have like the Pirate Wharf meet and greet area, and you can hear all along the Frontierland area. That all comes from an album, and I included the full album. You can also hear that on my Rivers of America page as well. So I didn't really. It's new in the fact that it's new to this chapter, but it has been on my site for a long time, because it's been on my Rivers of America page for quite some time. But it's a fun mix of pirate kind of themed music, and it has some fun sound effects mixed in and whatnot. It's fun. Skipping these two because they've been there for a while. Ghost Mountain, Ghost Galaxy area sounds. I forget what movie it comes from. This is not authentic. It comes from a movie that takes place in outer space. My friend again, Scott Leonard, said we're using it as what we call a placeholder. It sounds similar to the sound effects that you hear. So until we get the authentic audio, we're using this as a placeholder. So at least we have it represented. And it's kind of close enough to the feeling that you get from the authentic audio, so don't be disappointed if you're expecting the real thing and you hear this and it's not quite what you expected, but it's what I call a placeholder. So if anybody ever comes across the authentic audio used for the area music or area audio of Space Mountain Ghost Galaxy and shares it with me, or if I find it, then I will replace that with the authentic thing. And that's true with anything I post on my site. If I use any placeholder music, if I ever find the authentic audio, I always replace it with the real thing. Monsters University Halloween Dance Party. This is actually, there's a guy here at the bottom of my page, you'll see his name. DJ Elliott. He actually is a DJ that does live DJ mixing at Walt Disney World, and so he's a real person that works in the Disney parks, and he has a website, and on SoundCloud he posts a lot of the live mixes that he actually did in the parks. This is one of them. It's a Monsters University mix that he did, I believe, in Tomorrowland at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. But they've also had Monsters University dance parties for Halloween at Disneyland. They did for a couple years, actually. And it's basically the same type of music that he plays. It's, that techno club music. And so with his blessings, I used his mix and I did a few tweaks and some cleanup on it. So this is an actual mix that was played in a Disney park. So it's kind of authentic in a way. And Ride of the Headless Horseman, again, I don't have the authentic audio from the Disneyland Ride of the Headless Horseman. This is audio from the an earlier version of the Walt Disney World Headless Horseman. But it's a placeholder, and it definitely, it has an introduction, narration, and everything, so it works. I mean, it does sound like the real thing. But it's not exactly. I'll play a second of it for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? Don't be alarmed, but there has been a sighting of the Headless Horseman here in the Magic Kingdom. If you see him, don't panic, remain calm, and don't lose your head.
So that music is Ride of the Valkyries. They did used to use that music at Walt Disney World. Now they use a piece of music that we don't recognize. Our music recognition software isn't picking up on what it is. So I wanted to use the real music, but I just couldn't figure out what it is. So I'm using Ride of the Valkyries because that's what they used to use. So there you go. Frightfully Fun Parade is the new parade that started last year. And the audio that I'm using is actually from a Disneyland Paris version of a Halloween parade that used the same theme song, but it's not the authentic audio. It's the same song that's used in the Disneyland parade, but it's audio from a Disneyland Paris parade, or it might be Hong Kong Disneyland. I can't remember which I think it is Disneyland Paris, but I may be confusing things. It's an overseas park, whatever it is. And that's where they got the song from. That it was written originally for one of the overseas parks. Halloween Screams, I didn't do any changes to. That's the fireworks show. That's been on my site, and I didn't change anything. Finally, for the Halloween section, Mickey's Trick or Treat Party, Villain's Farewell. Using videos online, I figured out kind of the music they used, and it's actually a variation of the music that they used to use for the Every Day is a Holiday live show at the Cinderella's Castle in Walt Disney World, where they kind of did a little scene from each holiday and did a song for Easter, a song for, Valentine's Day, Halloween, and Christmas. And the Halloween section is what I used for this track. The song that they sing, there's several different versions of it, but the one that matched up the closest to the Kiss Goodnight show with the villains at Disneyland was that brief Halloween segment from the Every Day's a Holiday show. And so that's the version I used for this track. So the last thing I worked on, because all of this stuff that you see here was added from my last update. Here's all the Valentine songs, St. Patrick's, Easter, all this stuff I added. And I've already updated you all on my blog, my last blog. So Thanksgiving is here. International festivals and New Year's Eve. Now, for New Year's Eve, I did add one new track since the last time I updated you. And again, this is from DJ Elliott. He did a New Year's Eve live mixing, dance party at the Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World. So I used that to create this mix for the Disneyland Castle Forecourt dance parties that they throw in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle on New Year's Eve. This is actually nearly a 4-hour track. This is the longest track I've ever put on the site. I think the longest next to this is under 2 hours. I've never put a track this long on the site before, but I figured why not. It's good background music. If you like this kind of music, you can put it on while you're at work and just leave it on and listen to it. So again, DJ Elliott is the gentleman who provided this audio. I did some cleanup on it. It's actually 4 different sessions, and I blended them all together into one mix session, if that's what you call it. And it's kind of like music that I haven't featured on my site before, contemporary dance music, if that's your thing. It's not really my thing, but I like to include music for all musical tastes, I have everything from Dixieland to club music on my site, so there's stuff for everybody. Let me show you his site real quick, DJ Elliott. I have a link to his site at the bottom of my page. You can see if you click on djelliott.com, and now my computer froze by clicking on it. That's always nice. Oh, there it goes. Okay. They say you get what you pay for, but not when you pay for high-speed internet. You don't always get what you pay for when you pay for high-speed internet, because in Rhode Island, it's just awful. It's like other people that I talk to, like the co-hosts of my Disneyland podcast, my Disney podcast, Jiminy Crickets, like my co-host Todd Haran, he has like, his internet is like so fast, I can't even believe it. When he sends me a file, like an audio file, if we record the podcast, it comes over like, it's like a 2-hour file in WAV format, which is a really, there's a lot of memory in a WAV file, and especially in a 2-hour WAV file, and he sends it to me and it comes over in like 30 seconds. I don't know what internet he's using, but it would take me about 15 minutes to send the same file. Anyway, here's DJ Elliott's website. Check it out. He's a really nice guy, and he actually does work in the parks doing DJing, if that's the right word. And yeah, he's really talented. He's a nice guy, and if you ever have the need for a DJ and you live in the Florida area, if you're having a wedding or something, look him up. He's always looking for gigs and whatnot, and he's a really nice guy, and he's a Disney fan just like we are, so support his endeavors. He's, Anyway, moving on. That's pretty much all of the updates for the holiday time chapter. And again, I will be adding Christmas songs and updating some of the existing ones in late November and throughout December this year. I plan to drop whatever I'm working on and going back to that and getting this chapter completely 100% fully updated this year. It's something I've been putting off for several years. I have so much to add. I have a lot of Christmas stuff to add. If you love Christmas, you'll be happy this year, because you're going to get a lot of new fun audio to listen to from DisneyChris.com. let's go look at the other chapter I've been working on since I last updated you. And that would be Disneyland After Dark. Now, I was working on this prior to working on the holiday chapter, and then I kind of decided I wanted to work on the holiday chapter because somebody sent me some Easter audio that I did not have before, and I kind of got excited to add it to the site, so I kind of dropped what I was in the middle of with After Dark, and I went over and thought, oh, I'll just do the Easter section. And then after I did the Easter section, I was like, well, why don't I do the other holidays besides Easter, except for Halloween. I won't do Halloween. And then I got done with all the other holidays. It's like, well, since I'm already been working on this page, I might as well just get Halloween done too. So I went ahead and did all that. And then I came back to After Dark, and I've been working on that since then. I have a segment here called Tomorrowland Bandstand, which is some of the earlier big bands that performed in the park in the 1960s. And I had most of them done, but there were a few that I hadn't finished yet, and I added them. I added Duke Ellington, and I added Stan Kenton. Since the last time I updated you. Those are the only two in this section that I had not completed yet. And this is not authentic audio recorded in the park, but it is audio that was recorded around the same time that these people, these orchestras, appeared in the park. So it's authentic in that it's from the same time period, and these are actual orchestras that appeared in the park. The only track that is authentic and was recorded in the park is number 13, Benny Goodman and his orchestra. That's an actual live recording of him playing at Disneyland. So there's at least one authentic recording among all of these. And then I finished up my Dixieland and Disneyland section, and I only had one track left to do for that one, and that was this one, number 30, the Albert McNeil Choir. And that's a gospel choir, and it's all a cappella, so I was kind of putting it off because it was a real pain to edit this one. There's a lot of recording errors, just messy editing on the original file. And then they have a tendency a lot of times, because this is a more modern recording, even though I'm representing it as something from the 60s, the actual recording I think is a recent recording of the same choir, because there are no recordings of them from the 60s. So I'm using a recent, but I mean the music is not, it's gospel, traditional gospel music. It hasn't changed since the 60s. But a lot of recordings, especially stuff like a cappella and stuff like string quartets and stuff, they have this tendency in modern recordings to they want to record all the little glitches and mistakes because they feel like it's more like being there. It's more like authentic, how it would sound if you're there. But I don't like that. I don't like hearing the screeching of a violin when they plunk on the strings. I like to hear a clean, smooth, and same with this a cappella. There was a lot of heavy breathing and people bumping into things, and I just got rid of all that stuff. So that took me a long time to edit. That was and it's not the most fun music to edit just because it's kind of somber. It's fun to listen to, but not to edit. Anyway, got all those sections done. So basically, the Disneyland After Dark chapter is now updated up to track 45. So 1 through 45 of this chapter is complete. And after I finished that, now I've been working on several more additions. And I'm setting up the files and have them ready for what I call final editing, and I'll go back and do all the final cleanup on them. And I have 17 so far that I've set up and I'm ready to work on. And by the time I do my next update, those will probably be added. So I will describe those to you when they're added, but the ones I'm currently working on, just to give you a preview, are Country Music Jubilee, The Great American Music Machine. I'm redoing this track, so even though it's here already, you're going to see a longer version of it. This track, number 50, Main Street Premiere Season, that's not changing. That's staying the same. I did Main Street Electrical Parade commercials, Main Street announcements. This track is currently on the site already, but I've done a longer version of it. I think the new version is about 30 minutes long, and it has more music in it. So look for an updated version of the Main Street Electrical Parade coming soon. Pete's Dragon Medley, Return to Oz. And then I have these 3 different versions of Fantasy in the Sky from the 70s and early 80s, which I have set up and I will be adding. And this Rolling River Review is on the site now, but I've done a better cleanup on it. It's going to be a crisper, cleaner sound, so it's going to be an improved version of this, and I have that set up and ready to go. Then I decided I would skip this Tomorrowland After Dark section and get to that later, because there's going to be some trickery involved in tracking down some of these artists, because I don't have a lot from them, and I want to see if I can't find sound-alike music to have more representation of these obscure groups. But I also skipped over big bands in Disneyland. I'll go back to that later, just because there's a lot of cleanup and editing involved in a lot of these, and I'm kind of putting that off because it's going to be a lot of work. So the next section I am working on right now is this section. I have a Grad Night, which is an introduction track to Grad Night. Then 2 mixes. If you watched my little tutorial, editing tutorial that I recorded yesterday, I was working on this track here, the 80s Grad Night Part 2, 85 to 89. So these 2 are, like, this one's going to be about an hour and 15 minute long mix, and this one's going to be about an hour and a half mix of 80s music. So I'm working on that. And then I also set up while I was doing all the other Electrical Parade stuff, I worked on this track, which I have ready for final editing, the 2017 version of the Main Street Electrical Parade. So those are the things that I will be adding to the site in the very near future. Now, the last thing I want to mention, just like I do when I write my little blog, is I want to mention to you that if you support what I do and want to become a DisneyChris.com supporter, financial supporter, because I am on a fixed income and it does take a lot of money to bring all this audio to you, you can donate to my site. And the way to do that is you go to this little, it's on every page of my website, this little button right here where my mouse is that says donate to site, and click on that. And it'll bring you to, eventually, if my internet decides to wake up, it'll bring you to a page where you can link to all the different ways you can support me. Here we go. First of all, if you want to make just a one-time donation, I mean, any amount that you can manage is appreciated. If all you could give me is $1, hey, that's $1 I didn't have before. Every little bit helps. And if you want to donate, you just click on this donate button to donate to PayPal. It's a one-time donation. Whatever amount that you want to donate, it'll go into my PayPal account. So all you have to do is put in the amount, and then donate with either your PayPal account or with a credit card, and it'll go right into my PayPal. And I use all that money towards my site. Another way you can help me out is through Patreon. This is a recurring donation, and if you go to my Patreon page, you can pledge any amount that you want to pledge, and it'll be a monthly donation. So if you want to pledge $1, it'll give me $1 at the beginning of each month. I think you put in a credit card or your PayPal, and it will deduct it from that every month. And I mean, any amount that you want. If it's $1, that's great. I love dollars. Another way you can help me out is you can buy a t-shirt, and the proceeds for the t-shirts go to DisneyChris.com as well. This is a picture of what you see on the t-shirt. You can get them in different colors: blue, white, pink. I also have children's sizes, and there's a V-neck for women if you prefer a V-neck. So I have a shirt too, and it's really good quality. The guy that does the printing for me does a really phenomenal job, and you won't be disappointed. So now that I got all that out of the way, thank you very much for watching my video, and I plan to keep you updated on a bi-weekly basis now that I'm doing a video version instead of a written version. It'll be less daunting, and I'll be able to update you more frequently. So future videos will be shorter because there won't be as much time that's gone between since the last time that I updated you, so there won't be as much to update you on. So this will probably be the longest video. And somebody had mentioned to me that my video from yesterday was a little lengthy, so I'll try to keep them shorter from now on. This is, again, the longest one you'll ever hear for the vlog updating, because I had a lot of ground to cover, because it's been a month since I last updated you all. So, hope your early summer is going great, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.